In life, it often feels like coming up with answers to life's problems feels difficult and often impossible. But maybe it's because we're not asking the right question. In Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life, he poses the question, what could I do that I would do that would make my life a little bit better? And I believe we can use this question to help answer and sort out some of the chaos that is in our lives and put our lives in order. But before I jump into that, and later on in the video, I am going to talk and kind of take it through a whole exercise of asking that question. But first, I need to kind of tee up, why is asking questions so important to us? And it's not like this idea of asking questions is something new. It's actually been around for a long time. We have to go all the way back to ancient Greece, with a philosopher and teacher named Socrates invented what has come to be known as the Socratic method. And in the Socratic method, the teacher, which started with Socrates, would ask questions rather than giving stats, rather than giving answers and all those different things. He would ask questions to his students to probe their minds and get them to think critically, so that they could let the answers come forth, that the answers would come forth from them, and they could reason those answers. And it's interesting that when we ask ourselves questions that we don't know the answers to, oftentimes answers will start coming to us, and we can start reasoning through an answer. For example, this may sound, very philosophical in the Socratic method and all those different things, but we can use this on a more pragmatic approach. I don't know if you're like me, but it's often very hard as a father, as a dad, as a husband, somebody who has to eat dinner every single day. And it seems like this question comes up every single day, and I never know the answer to, what are we doing for dinner? It's always so hard to find out. But even at this, we can ask questions to help us answer that. So one of the things we can say for what's for dinner, I can ask the question, well, what is important to me to get out of this dinner? Well, tonight, I could say, just as an idea, I could say, tonight it's important that we save money, that we feed the whole family, and that I have leftovers for tomorrow. And for a fourth, that it's easy for me to do. Something simple, something I don't have to think about. So I don't know the answer to the question, what am I having for dinner? But I can start asking questions, and immediately 3 things just pop in my head. I think, okay, pizza, always an easy choice. Burgers, also very simple in our house. But then I'll have to have sides and all that kind of stuff, so maybe not that. And then tacos. Well, that's easy. I have all the stuff in the freezer. We buy in bulk, so a lot of the stuff we already have on hand. I don't have to go out to the store. And so I could do pizza or I could do tacos, but then I'll ask the question, too, well, which one of those is healthier? Because that kind of popped up in my mind as well. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll have tacos because I can have avocado in it. I can have some salsa. The next day, I don't have to necessarily have a taco. I could have a quesadilla or something like that, So I come to the conclusion of this simply by asking questions. So questioning ourselves is how we can get answers. So now I want to come back to Jordan Peterson's question. What could I do that I would do that could help make my life a little better, or help make life a little better? Implied in that question before we answer it is it's a small thing, because he says a little bit better. And kind of the idea of what could I do? What is in my ability? So I'm not going to say stuff like, well, I'm going to get $10 million, because that's not within my ability right now. Something that I would do, something that I want to do, something that I've been thinking about doing. So if I ask myself that question, what could I do that I would do that would make my life better? And 2 more questions pop in my head just now as I'm doing this right now. I think, what am I doing that I don't want to do, that makes me feel bad about myself, that I wish I didn't do? And the second question, on the opposite side, what do I wish I would do that I'm not doing right now, that I want to do more of? So if I answer those 2 questions, the thing I'm doing that I don't want to do, I don't want to be lazy. No, I'm not that lazy. I don't want to waste time. That's more important. I don't want to waste time. Okay, so I have that in mind. The next thing is I do want to exercise more, but I'm really busy. I have a lot of stuff going on. I have a full-time job. I'm involved in a lot of things. I have a family. I have a lot of things going on. So something simple, something small. I want to walk more. That's something I can attain. So now I have my answers. It still doesn't answer the question because now I have to ask another question. Is there any time in my day when I am doing the thing I don't want to do, which is wasting time, and I could substitute the thing I want to do, which is walk? Well, as I'm thinking about it, every day, 5 days a week, I take a lunch break. And typically, I warm up my food, I go back to my desk because I have a desk job, and I eat my food. And then after that, I scroll on the internet, I look up different things, I maybe play a video game on my phone, stuff like that. And not that anything's necessarily wrong with that, but I have lots of goals and lots of things I want to do. And that's wasting time. And oftentimes, I do that, and the rest of my day, because I sat in my chair, I am a little bit more sluggish, don't like my job a little bit more, and it's not a right decision. It's not a good thing that over time I can be proud of. I definitely am wasting my time. So instead of doing that at lunch, I will eat my lunch. Afterwards, I'm going to go for a walk, and I'll start walking. And so by doing that, I can get up out of my chair, I can do something that I can be proud of, and I will get more energy. I will probably have more energy in the afternoon, so my work will be better. And because my work is better, I will probably do better at my job. And because I'm doing better at my job, there'll be more opportunities that open to me. And even on a small scale, because I keep it small as I'm thinking about these things, maybe my drive home will be better. And because I have more energy, instead of listening to something stupid or wasting time there, maybe I'll throw on a audiobook or a podcast instead of wasting time there. And because I did that, maybe I'll be more satisfied with life and a little happier. And so when I get home, I'll be happier. And instead of my family having to deal with me as a sad, unenergetic loser, I will be somebody that will have more energy and happier and someone you'd want to be around. So my family life will get better. And you can see how the stuff just snowballs. And I'm just doing this in front of you right now. You can do this with anything. If you got a problem with any part of your life, ask yourself, what is something that I could do, that I would do, that would make my life better? It could be, I'm going to do 1 push-up a day. I'm going to make breakfast rather than go to McDonald's. I'm going to take 1 piece of garbage out of my car so that it doesn't pile up and that people won't judge me because I have a messed up car, or an unclean car. It's that easy. You can ask yourself these questions and make small steps to change your life. Literally, the trajectory of your life. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you try this method and you come up with some answers to that question, make sure you comment it down below. I'd like to hear back from you. Thanks. Have a great day.